Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with Damon Benning and Jacob Padilla.
Oh,
Hey,
there we go.
there we
What'd
go.
you just do, Shane? God, that's loud.
Yeah,
I think you're one. Oh, I feel better about my
there we
volume
go.
now.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nebraska Preps Postgame with Damon Benning and Jacob Padilla.
That's the big voice guy. So he lets us know that we've got another good week.
Except the Wi-Fi died on me.
Aw, poo. We're gonna get my man young Jacob some Wi-Fi here shortly. Did you turn it off and turn it back on, or what do we want to do here?
Trying to get in here.
Do you want to ad lib a little bit? I like to ad libbing a smidge. Speaking of which, while you're trying to figure that out,
You don't need to see me anyway.
that's how I always feel, and they get mad at me. I'm like, wait, do you guys really? So this is unconfirmed but confirmed in prep breaking news. It's Hunter Salas on his way to Wake Forest. As that is currently what I'm reading online on social media. But the interesting thing is it's per his agent. Are we going with it? I feel like we kind of teased this morning. But if you follow at CFB Anonymous 99, which is Anon, it says breaking Gonzaga guard Hunter Salas is transferring to Wake Forest. His agent tells me. Are we? The announcement is set for 11 Eastern. Sounds kind of backwards to break that out of order.
Yeah, that might just be somebody. So who is this from? This account?
So if you take a look at it, and Mike Sauter has since sent it to me.
Yeah, that's
no, I get it.
Huh.
But I do know that Wake Forest is in the hunt, so I don't.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking it as kind of rhetorical. Are we breaking news? Is this not breaking news? Is this a thing? right? What do we think?
Yeah, I think that particular report could be someone jumping the gun for clout and taking their shot, but I do think we'll hear the real thing
Coming
here shortly.
pretty soon.
Yeah,
Surprise, level of surprise, not so much.
not really. But yeah, I guess let's wait till Hunter makes it official. However, he's going to do that. What exactly his announcement is?
Yeah, that would be kind of disappointing, right? Like if it came out of order.
Yeah. Again, like that's a tough thing. There's so many people that you got the rumor mill going around. Obviously, it's happened a lot with Creighton stuff where you've got people jumping with semi-reputable, taking kind of same rumors that everybody else is hearing and then going with them, hoping to look good after things officially play out.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a fan of that. But some people are going to choose to do that.
Who's very reputable is my man Jacob Padilla, who I was saying this off air. I didn't kind of know this about you, and maybe it's just because you're in a hurry when I get you because it's like up against 10 o'clock. Are you typically a fast driver?
Not nearly as fast as my brother. I'd say I'm
hashtag Jordan.
Yeah, I'd say I'm an average. Like I'll go 5 to 10 over depending on the situation.
You handle that thing quite nicely. Like you kind of maneuvered around this parking lot. I'm like, oh shoot, JP's and it's a pretty car, so it's like
there's never anybody here, so that makes it easier. Don't have to at this time of the day.
Are you okay with being a passenger?
Yeah,
I did want to really be in the car with you and Sauter going to Des Moines, but I missed that. Are you cool not being in control?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Is occasionally get a little nauseous if I try to do too much if I'm in the passenger seat. So,
yeah. Oh, really?
Take a little Dramamine and then I'll be fine.
That's interesting because everything you do has pace, right? I ran into you at the gas station last week, and maybe it's because you're up against the clock, but you move fast, you kind of walk fast, like you have pace.
Yeah, I definitely walk fast. Don't like wasting time.
Weird.
And I'm not the kind of person that gets everywhere half hour early, so a lot of times I do kind of run up against the clock, and I'm like, all right, I gotta hustle here because I just don't like standing around wasting time. I guess. I try to time things probably closer than I should in a lot of situations. So
I can relate. Yeah, I can definitely relate. How was the weekend besides as we previewed what was going to happen in St. Louis? I thought it was going to be competitive. I just wasn't sure because of the new league. But last time we were in St. Louis for a tournament, there were a lot of good teams on board. Like, what'd you think?
Yeah, so I want to start St. Louis and then work our way back here to Council Bluffs. Then?
Yeah, sure.
It's St. Louis. I mean, there was a lot of talent down there, a lot of coaches. I think they've done a good job recruiting some of these programs in to kind of be their flagship programs, bringing some high major kids, some 5-star top 150 kids down there. Saw a handful of kids that kind of tore it up and got some offers this week. So I mean, it was high level. I had no idea what to expect for this league going in because it's obviously starting from scratch. A lot of these teams aren't the ones that I've seen before or are super familiar with, so I wasn't really sure where they're from, how good they are, but they've got Las Vegas Knicks, one family from Florida, 3D Empire from Texas. They've got teams from all over the place and with some dudes on them. So I think the Nebraska Supreme 17U team definitely showed well for itself. My team and 16U team both struggled a little bit, kind of just diving into this level of competition. I think the way the schedule is set up really hurt us in particular.
Yeah, because you had a layoff.
We played the first weekend and we won the 4 games by 101 points that we talked about. And then we had 2 weeks off, and I had like 3 practices during those 2 weeks, and I had 6 kids there at the practices. So we got down there and it was tough. I mean, chemistry wise, consistency wise, trying to find out lineups, trying to figure out, all right, who should be in the game in which situations. So it's not something I've had to kind of navigate before, having this spread out a team where practices are so tough. And I'm going to have to keep doing it for a couple weeks here, as we get through the spring, and hopefully, in July that will be kind of full strength, and we'll have a little bit more camaraderie and togetherness. But we went 1-3 at the 15U level. We dug ourselves a big hole in each of the first 3 games, got back to down 6 at halftime in the first. I think we took a 1-point lead in the second, and then we were down 2 at halftime in the third, and just couldn't finish it off each game. We lost 68-53 to 3D Empire. Man, we just could not throw it in the ocean. The first game back, we shot like 30% from the field. Just couldn't make it from anywhere. And they had this kid. He scored 22 points on almost nothing but pull-up contested jumpers. It was unreal. He could not miss.
Yeah, a lot like Devin Booker and your sons right now.
Yeah, except that's a lot more fun to watch than being on the other side.
By the way, nice T-shirt.
I got to represent.
You just bounced the clip joint, man. You got something to smile about.
Yeah, we lost 71-60 to Midwest Renegade out of Chicago. Lost 72-66 to AAO Flight out of Arkansas, and then closed out the weekend with a 62-58 win over Southern Kings. Although that was a complete disaster. We showed up. Southern Kings went to a different gym, and nobody had no communication with any of us. We had no idea what was going on. Showed up way late. Game started like 10 minutes late, and it was kind of a mess start to finish. We were on a high school court. The first 3 games were at the arena. It was fine. The 4th game was on a high school court, the sideways court. So you've got the light lines. There's no half court line at all. And one of the officials. And one of the officials, I don't think he knew what he was looking at. Like some of the other ref was like agreeing with us. Like he has no idea what the other dude's calling. So that's always fun. And like it was kind of a mess of a game, but we were able to kind of hold out and close the weekend out with a win. So that was good to get that first W under our belts. Man, Derek Conjas from Ashland Greenwood had a great first 3 games. He was awesome this weekend. Struggled to finish a little bit in the first, but still had a double-double, and then had 21 in one of the games. Like his just kind of ability to kind of get in the paint and up and under, his footwork, his touch, was unreal. He had 21 points in the second game, 23 in the second, 9 boards. Again, really efficient inside the basket, around the basket. So he had a great weekend. And then we had Trevin Wilkins also had the last 2 games scored 37 points. Alex brother, really good again downhill. Some crazy. He's
finishes. Crafty too. Like he's kind of got a little Gumby to him.
Yeah, there were a couple finishes where like I had no idea how he got the ball in the basket. There's one where he extended all the way out and like finger rolled it at full extension as he was getting fouled off the backboard and in. Like probably the most impressive bucket that I saw all weekend. So we've got some things we're working through. Owen Anderson from Millard North kind of got going a little bit in the last 2 games, scored 14 and 17. So I like the stretch and some of the stretches we saw. It's the consistency isn't just there yet, and hopefully we should have kind of our full squad down in Wichita this weekend, getting Nate Kelly back and Jordan Aguenma back, getting Sawyer Smith back. So adding those guys into the mix, I feel a lot better now. Feel more prepared going into the second weekend than I was in the first.
Likely to see good competition in Wichita. Not sure it'll be what you saw in St. Louis, but it'll be similar.
The same, it's kind of same team to travel, and we actually get a rematch with AAO Flight, and then we play 3 other teams. So
the cool thing, and I know the good thing why I like our balance is I'm kind of speculating based on what I heard. You're going to wait to commit until you actually know. But the story going into the culmination of this league was, hey, it's going to be top shelf league. It's 20 game circuit, maybe more, high level competition, pretty close to being best of the best. It should be highly, highly competitive. Like that was the sentiment when this shoe league was formed in January and first discussed coming to Omaha with the merger. Like, is that kind of the sense you're getting now that you feel comfortable kind of nodding your head like, yeah, I think this is about the design of it?
Yeah. Again, I didn't know
kind
at
of
all. Nobody really told me about what the league was going to be. So I went into it completely blind. So it's a little bit eye-opening. It'll be fun now. We'll get the Lincoln Supreme teams will be down there. Omaha Elite will be down there as well moving forward. So
if Archie continues to get that elite team to play hard, they have flashes.
Yeah.
Strong in those guys. Thomas, they gave ETG some fits early in that first half when they played them, a month ago or so. They have some potential, and I already told you I like the 17 Supreme team.
Yeah, and we'll touch on the OE just briefly later, but it's kind of finishing up in St. Louis. The 16s also went 1-3, coached by Drew Henning. They got off to a rough start again. The first 3 games, they dug a big hole, got back into it. They kept fighting against a good one family team. Ended up losing by 13 there. The second game, they got run off the 4 in the first half, and then battled back and only lost by 12. Got that thing down to 54-42 as a final. Showed much better fight in the second half there. Had a rough one against Drew Nation, and then they rounded out the 60-57 win against Midwest Renegade. I think Kyle Cannon from Omaha Scud is going to be a guy for that team. Showed some flashes this weekend.
Be a good little partnership with Ian Scholl.
Yeah, and this will be good for him. Kind of a chance. Obviously, last year was kind of the 6th man for them. Just come in, get some shots off, play some defense, and then check back out. Next year, they'll need him to be kind of one of their lead guards. So this will be a good experience for him, getting a chance to kind of be one of the main guys for this team heading into the high school year. Barrett Bosiger shot the ball, had some stretches where he shot the ball really well from Norris. So that's, again, another team that's still kind of trying to figure it out. So we'll see how they progress the rest of the season. And then, the 17s, they went 3-1, and they had
roster
3.5 good halves of basketball, and then just kind of ran out of gas in the second half against a really talented one family team. They on the weekend, they shot 34-73 from 3, which is like 46%. Like that's how you're going to win in this league. And they beat 3 good teams. Beat 3D Empire out of Texas, 80-77. They were up 24 in that game and let it slip down to 3. This kid named Cool ATAC, I think, just started throwing up some nonsense shots. Dude must have taken like 30 shots in that game. And some of the one he
Trae Young stuff.
Yeah. And then second half, he just started throwing up nonsense that just kept going in. Like he's D1 kid, getting
a lot of D1 offers.
Yeah. And then they beat Select Basketball out of Boise, 73-67. And then beat Las Vegas Knicks 54-33. Mercy ruled them. Really good defensive showing. And then they were up on one family with like 4 minutes to go in the first half, let it slip, and they tied it up at 34 all. And then they just couldn't make a shot in the second half. Just ran out of gas, couldn't get the ball in the basket. And one family ended up pulling away and winning by 20.
In this league, I think they'll be able to shoot it. Do you think they'll get enough easy buckets off the bounce?
That's the question, being able to finish around the basket against athleticism. You saw the kind of limitations there against size and physicality and athleticism. Because a lot of the success this weekend was from 3. They struggled inside the arc in 3 of the 4 games. But they made up for it. 3's more than 2, and they played well together, and they scrapped on defense.
I like the roster.
Alex Wilcoxon had a really good weekend. It's pretty balanced. Like nobody went off like all weekend long. But Wilcoxon ended up leading them in scoring 10.5 a game. Shot 11 of 20 from 3 and 4 of 8 from 2. And he had some really good defensive stretches as well, where he's getting up and forcing turnovers just with his ball pressure. So
full disclosure, he's an underrated defensive player. I think he's pretty good.
I mean, you got to pick up something playing under Bill Hurd in that Gretna system, right? Yeah. Like those guys aren't going to play 32 minutes
really
a game like they do.
For ETG last year defensively. Pleasant surprise. The guys trust him. And I think he understands. You're right. That's kind of the Hurd factor, because I think he understands what teams are trying to do, right? When not to go under ball screens, when to hedge, where's my help side defense. And he kind of has some good natural instincts from playing defensive back in high school. Knows how to use his hands, not use his hands. He's a crafty defender.
Yeah. And Carter Mick had a good game there, ended up shooting 7 of 13 overall from 3 from Lincoln East, kind of serving as their 6-man spark plug. Marcus Glock.
He is so unassuming. He is such a good player. Marcus
Glock had a good first game, 17 points, hit 3 threes in that one, 5 boards, 3 assists. So they've got different guys stepping up. They had really solid point guard play throughout the weekend between Landon Pekorski and Eldon Turner. Neither of those guys, I mean, Landon had 11.7 boards and 5 assists in the first game, but it wasn't, outside of that, wasn't any like dominant performances by either one. But overall, they were just efficient, hit their shots. Overall, pretty good assist turnover ratio, and then applying pressure at the point of attack. And so, yeah, and then Ben got Dak, showed some flashes there. The unsigned senior from Lincoln Southeast, getting plenty of interest at this point. Hit a couple of threes, had some really nice defensive plays, went and got some boards. So it's, like you said, it's a well balanced team. They had a great weekend overall, and now they're gonna look to carry it forward as we head down to Wichita.
So overall takeaways, will you like this with kind of the league format, how you can prep? Does that play to your advantages?
A little bit, like, again, like we're already, I don't know that you like playing the same team back-to-back weekends, but at the same time we lost to them. So be nice to kind of get another crack. It was a game we can definitely win if we play well. We were right in it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how this plays out. I don't know exactly how the league aspect of it works, considering teams have played in different, like they've had a few events already. There are teams that have played 8 games in the league. There are teams that have played 12, I think. There are teams that have only played 4. This was our first weekend. And so I don't know how exactly that's going to work out as you build towards the Houston weekend. But we'll just kind of see as we go and as this thing continues to play out.
You want to transition to
that closer to home? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a similar deal. Not a great weekend for the program as a whole. One of the teams had a solid showing, but I guess we'll start with where you want to go because you were the one that was here.
Yeah, the 17s. We'll start there, and I'm guessing the team that you liked, kind of their showing overall as well as the 16s. Their roster is really good. We'll stay with the 17s just for a little bit, where I think, for them. Now the schedule was tough, right? So I don't. It's not like they were playing me and you out there, or probably closer to me than you. You'd probably still give them a few buckets, but they got. I think for them, they're having it's going to be kind of an identity thing. The thing that I think made them unique and good at what they did was they were so selfless. And I think there's a difference between being selfless and, because I'm not saying they're selfish. They're not. It's not a team that shoots a lot of bad shots and guys go one-on-one, but selfless by doing the little things.
So
that's what I mean by selfless versus selfish, because it's, again, not a selfish team, but you got to get 50-50 balls. If you're not scoring the ball, you have to rebound. If you're a defender, you occasionally have to get buckets. If they need more two-way selflessness so other guys can function, because they're talented, but they have to figure out how not to get in moods when balls aren't going in the basket.
And
that's the thing.
Yeah, they went 0-4. I think that's the first win this weekend.
The first 0 weekend that I can remember this team having.
Yeah, going back through the entire 15U through 17U stretch, where it's mostly been the same core. They lost 68-60 to Team Phenom United to open the weekend.
They lost that game in about an 8-minute stretch in the first half.
18-4
run.
Yeah. I was able to go back and watch this one on video. I didn't have time to get through all the others, but I did want to see at least one of these. Yeah, it was decent start. They got up 4-0, 6-2. And then went a long time.
10-6.
Went a long time without scoring. And like I said, big run there.
Got it back to 55-55.
Yeah, they were down 15 at halftime, tied it up, and then just let it slip away again down the stretch. And
they hit back-to-back threes. I think Caleb hit the first one, and then somebody, was it Jaden that hit the second?
So, yeah.
And so at 55-55, you felt good. They had the ball. I think Caleb missed a pull-up in the lane. There was kind of a loose ball. It was a leaky run-out finish. And then it was uphill ever since, made it 57-55.
They took some quick shots, I thought, during that stretch where you weren't chasing, you weren't down enough to where you need to be chasing. You just needed great shots. And I thought
so at the tail end, right, when it was like 59, I completely agree. Like they just got outside of what they needed to do because they could get stops, right? And that's kind of how they came back, was by getting stops. But I'm with you. The shot selection late was a little bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah. Jaden got off to a slow start, but then finished strong. Ended up with 15 points, 3-6 from 3, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Stuff the stat sheet. Only one in double figures, though. They shot 7 of 25 from 3, 3 of 10 from the free throw line. Actually, you guys got an extra point on the scoreboard. They gave you 2 points when Will Cooper split a pair of free throws. It was actually 68-60. I think the final score is 68-61. But to your point about doing the little things, 18 defensive rebounds in the entire game. You just can't. You're not going to live when you can't clean the glass. You put all this effort to get stops and then can't get the ball.
And it's not a small team. Like they're not as we saw. They're not as long as some. But not a small basketball team.
They're big enough that they can do it, but they also have to put in the work. They can't just go grab the ball out of the air. They got to do the work of boxing out, carving out space, making sure that they're in the better position to go get the ball in order to rebound. And they just didn't really do that. And then 18 turnovers on top of it. There were some careless ones, some forced, some not. So just kind of combination. You just can't dig yourself that big of a hole. And then Indiana Elite did not go well. Obviously, top 2-3 team in the country by the counts that I've heard. 80-48 was that one. Team shot 33% from the field.
Effort was not very good.
But Flory Badunga had 9 blocks apparently.
Yeah, anything where they tried to get dribble drive penetration, but he was there. Erased.
Yeah,
he's the real deal. So
then they had another dude score at 31, right?
Yeah,
and not miss a shot.
Yeah, he was. So that was more about. I loved his strength. I liked his shot selection. Could get his shots off. You remember how we talked about spring, summer live period eval with the Adidas? So many quality head coaches at back-to-back games, even Sunday. Larnega, Mick Cronin, Kelvin Sampson, Dana Altman. There were Matt Painter at the Saturday, the doubleheader. I zipped back for the 4:50 game against Dream Vision, which is a long, strong basketball team. And you're playing against a 5-star caliber point guard who I felt like they defended really, really well. He wasn't the difference, but it was their length and getting on the glass.
Yeah. 65-47 was the final for that one loss there.
And that was a game in which they cut it to 8. Everybody kind of started to mill around and watch this little comeback. But again, they did it with 50-50 balls and getting some stops defensively, but didn't shoot the ball well enough from behind the arc. And again, I think shot selection when you're struggling doesn't mean I get it, shoot or shoot, but sometimes you got to figure out a way to go get fouled and be willing to get fouled.
Yeah. And then 65-56 was the final game lost against mass rivals there to close out the weekend.
That game was a mess start to finish.
Yeah.
Start to finish, playing in kind of a daze.
Yeah. I mean, scoring 60 or less in all 4 games, that's just not what we've seen from this team.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's kind of a wake-up call, and I think it will.
I think it will be. I think they have to figure out the numbers that they want to carry. I think they have to figure out you have to be patient with this team. I think recruiting and kind of the finality of what this year brings versus coaches grabbing guys out of the portal and high school recruiting maybe not being what you want it to be. I think they just got to take a deep breath. But they got their hands full in Bryan, Texas this weekend with another tough schedule.
Yep. I mean, you're on the 3 SSB now. There's no relaxing. It's a little different than last year where they ripped through the Adidas Gold to earn their way on to the 3 SSB tournament at the end of the year. Like they've got to come ready to play from the opening tip in every game.
Got to commit themselves to getting stops when you're not making baskets.
Yep. team that did get some stops, get some baskets this weekend was the 16U squad. They went 3-1, 68-60 win over Upward Stars. They had Braden Frager had 15, 6 boards, 3 assists. Bryson Ball had 10 points, 5 boards. Amir Martin, 10 points in that one. They 78-76. They held on for a win against Compton Magic. I think they were up double digits at that one.
I didn't love that Compton Magic team.
Yeah.
But I felt like the 16s did a really good job of answering the dinner bell when it got hectic. Like their composure was pretty good. If they can play that way, because I think that's the question, right?
Yeah.
Like not getting caught up in the moment with their skill set. If they can play that way, JP, they'll have a chance.
Yeah, they lost 61-69 in the New York Jayhawks, but closed out the weekend an 80-52 win against Jay Sizzles.
That was not so. That game was going on at the same time as the Sunday the mass game, and they dribbled that one out with about 2 minutes to go. Like that one was over from the get go. You can figure out who wants to play those early Sunday morning games in a hurry.
Yeah,
after a long weekend.
And I think I saw in terms of just total threes a game, they had Reese Kircher, Amir Martin, and Bryson Ball all combined. I think Reese hit 8 threes, and Amir and Bryson each hit more than that, like 10 or 12 on the weekend.
Amir's game in terms of putting the ball on the deck is getting better. And I would challenge him because he's practically family, but if Amir gets in elite level physical shape,
he's looking bouncier than he has been.
He's a different player. He excites me a little because he's starting to finish around the rim. He's putting it on the deck. But if I'm telling you, if he commits to like being in elite level shape, he will be one of the names that rises to the top of that 16 that 2025 class.
Because like his just pure shot making talent, like it's by far I think the best in the class. Like his ability to hit shots from anywhere, off the dribble, off the catch, from NBA range and beyond.
And he'll shoot them too. Like some of that is his willingness to try those things.
Yeah.
Like he's open when he hits the gym.
Yeah, he's not the guy where he's consistently shooting 40% every game, but man, when he gets hot, like the shots he's able to hit are unreal. So they need to continue to get that from him to go with kind of their size and athleticism. And then the ETG 15U team got off to a good start and then kind of let slip away. All 4 games were close. Could have gone either way. They lost 70-65 to Garner, or they won 70-65.
That was the opener.
Yeah, against Garner Road. Jackson Cruz had 16 points, 4 assists. Major Monster, who had a good weekend overall, played well in 3 of the 4 games, I think.
He can shoot it.
15 points, 7 boards. Sutton Pietkowski had 12, and Torrin Carter Brown had 10 points and 8 assists. So really good balance. They had a lot of different guys making an impact there. Lost 52-53 against Southern Assault. Monster led the way with 14 points there. The team shot 38% from the field. Lost 46-69 to New World. So that was the one that that got away from them.
That's a good basketball team. That 15U New World team. That's a good team.
Monster led the way again, 9 points, and the team shot 34% overall. And then another close one closed out the weekend, lost 54-56 to the New York Jayhawks. Noah O'Neill from Lincoln East led the way, 16 points on 6 of 8 shooting. Sutton Pietkowski had 11 points and 8 boards. But again, 54 points wasn't quite enough to get a win there. But that's a team that we know struggled the previous weekend. They went 3-1 the first weekend in Omaha. Then they struggled over in Des Moines during the tune-up. So good to start the weekend with a win. Obviously, you'd like to get more than one win, but they put themselves in a position where like they had a chance to win 2 of those games, and hopefully it's kind of a learning experience for them moving forward. They figured some things out here because again, like I said, it's going to continue to be tough moving forward. It gets closed out with a couple of shout outs for basically every other Nebraska AAU team was down in Kansas City, literally every single one. The teams that went 3-1 down on the platform in Kansas City were Nebraska, Lincoln Supreme National 1 and National 2, 17U. Both teams went 3-1. MBDA Red, 17U. OSA Elite Travis, 17U. Omaha Elite 17U, and then Powerhouse Hoops Nebraska Skirka 17U all went 3-1 down in Kansas City. A good weekends for them.
Another busy weekend. We got ETG traveling. You're in Wichita. Some folks will be here playing as well. So we'll be spread out. I think we got it covered. You think?
Yeah, do our best like we do every week.
We'll figure it out. The more you want to know, let us know. That's Jacob Padilla. I'm Old DB. That's another week of Nebraska Preps Postgame. Catch us next week.